It was always a fragmented parliament. We know that there's 6 parties already in the parliament and 20 contesting this race. But Prime Minister, the Socialist Antonio Costa, never expected the campaign to become this tight. An average of polls gave him 36%, topping the poll, ahead of the Social Democrat PSD party on 32%. But we know that towards the end of that campaign, that distance closed. And some of the opinion polls even gave the lead to the Social Democrats. That is bad news for Antonio Costa. He's had, of course, to handle the pandemic. He also, during his 6 years, has been managing the fallout from Portugal's very painful pre-austerity programme. He's tried to pay down debt, but with less austerity. And he was really the darling of the European centre-left for managing to strike a deal with those far-left parties to sustain his minority government. But, of course, they pulled their support, rejecting that budget. And the polls show that even if he wins this race, he may be turning to other smaller parties to complete that all-important majority to stay in power.
Yeah, and Sarah, if he wins and turns to smaller parties, one of the unlikely benefactors here could be the far right.
That is right. There is a party called Chega that is headed really by a one-man show. Andre Ventura, who's an ex-football pundit, and he's really come to prominence in this election. He's tried to use the discontent of the Portuguese people in key areas. He's also really tried to come up with simple solutions, say his critics, to complicated problems. He complains that too many Portuguese and immigrants are living off subsidies, is his contention. And he, in some opinion polls, is tipped to even take the 3rd place. Now, for the moment, those in the Social Democratic Party have said that they don't want him in the government. If they had to try to form a centre-right government and were lacking seats, they would not want him in the government. They would not want Chega, which stands for enough, to be in the government. But we know they may be reliant on his support if that majority gives the Social Democrats enough to try to form a bloc, but not enough to get into power decisively. So the far right here hoping to be one of the big winners from today's election.